Hello everybody, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you all about my current training program. So I'm about, I think, 8 or 9 weeks removed now from having competed in my last competition of the 2023 season, which was WNBF Worlds. And right now I'm in, I suppose, what you would call my improvement season, where my main goal right now is to, above all else, just focus on building more muscle. So it's really exciting. This is basically my favorite part about fitness in general. Natural bodybuilding is the building part, the building muscle. I love training. I love making progress as far as muscle goes. I love improving my performance in the gym and getting stronger, the feeling that comes with it. So this is a really enjoyable part of the fitness self-improvement process for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through one of my training sessions in my program, and then in future videos I will be walking you through the other training sessions that I'm including in my program right now. Now, my program is very simple in nature. It's a full body split in which I'm just rotating through 3 different training sessions. So it's a 3-day full body split. 2 of those training sessions are purely full body. Pretty much, and when I say that, I mean my training volume is spread pretty evenly across all body parts in those training sessions. My 3rd training session has a little bit more of an emphasis on my delts, so my shoulder muscles, and my back musculature. Now, there is a reason for that. The reason for that is during this next phase of my lifting journey, I actually have a couple areas of focus on my body that I want to emphasize, that I want to improve more than anything else. Now, that being said, I do want to build more muscle all over universally on my body, just like most individuals who want to build more muscle do, I would say. But there are a couple areas that I want to focus on, and this is something that we learned over my last competition season after having got really lean, exactly where I could use a little bit more of more muscle in particular. So what we're thinking is I need more upper body, we'll say, width coming from my side delts. So my side shoulder muscles, those heads, we want to improve that. That's going to really add to the width of my upper body. Now, on top of that, the other main area of focus is going to be the middle and upper inner muscles of my back. So that's going to be like my rhomboids, my trap 2s and trap 3s, which I suppose you could describe as adding more thickness to my back. So my lats, the width was pretty good, we found, in my last season. It wasn't terrible by any means, but what was really lacking was like the thickness in the inside of my back. A lot of that kind of 3-dimensional cool shape, it just wasn't really there the way that it could have been. So we're going to focus a little bit more on that. My exercise selection in this training program is also going to be reflective of the areas that I want to improve as well too. So I'm trying to be really smart with my exercise selection in my program. I'm aiming to pick really 100% of my exercise selection are inclusive of the ones that feel the best for me. So I'm not wasting any exercise slot on an exercise that doesn't feel right for me, or it feels like it's a little bit too injurious, or I'm just not, my mind muscle connection just isn't sitting right. I'm not feeling tension in the right place. All of the exercises in my program right now are ones that feel the best for me right now, and I'm going to aim to progress with them for as long as possible. So I'm not going to waste any time on any exercise that doesn't feel like it's hitting quite right. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to walk you through my session A, which is one of my 3 sessions in my 3-day full body training split. I'm going to walk you through what exercises I'm doing, how I'm thinking when I'm performing each exercise, why I'm picking these exercises in my program, which muscles they're really focusing on, and just kind of explaining the process for me right now in building muscle. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Here we go. All right, so we'll call this my session A. I'm doing a 3-day training split, again, where I'm just rotating through 3 training sessions, about 5 or 6 days a week, 1 or 2 rest days, depending kind of how I'm feeling. I'm feeling really good right now, so I've been typically taking only about 1 rest day per week. Anyways, I'm starting this training session with this cool variation of our Romanian deadlift that I'm using a belt squat machine actually, where I'm just attaching a close neutral grip handle with a carabiner clip to the machine. And that's how I'm doing these Romanian deadlifts. So two of the areas of focus that I'm intending to improve over my long improvement season until my next natural bodybuilding competition prep are my hamstrings and glutes. So I'm actually prioritizing that I train those muscles first in the workout, so they get a little bit more extra attention than maybe something else. So hopefully this pans out. I really like this variation of Romanian deadlifts. Right now where I'm at, I can really feel it. So I feel a really deep stretch in my hamstrings in particular. I can move with a full range of motion. It doesn't feel like, it feels very smooth too. So I don't feel like I'm getting fatigued or like I'm getting banged up. Like my joints all feel okay. My back feels great. I actually get a little bit of a pump too in my lats for a lot of these sets, which we'll take as a bonus because I'm actually trying to improve a lot of my back musculature as well. So this seems to be a pretty good exercise to begin this session with, considering which muscles I'm aiming to improve. Again, that being hamstrings and glutes, but also I feel a little bit in my upper back too, which I'm liking. All right, so the next exercise on the program and this training day is my flat barbell bench presses. So these have been progressing really well since my season ended about, is it 8 or 9 weeks ago already? So the pressing strength is coming back quite strong. So this is 285 pounds, doing 6 reps here per set. So this was 5 reps. So my rep target is around 4 to 6 reps per set. So rep target, that's the number of reps I'm aiming for, kind of as the name alludes to. This was my second set here. But this is my bigger, heavier hitting kind of chest press, my pec exercise that I'm including in my program. I'm also including a flat dumbbell chest press as well as a push-up variation, which I'll show you guys in another in one of my future videos here. But anyways, these have been going very well. They're moving quite smoothly. The flat barbell bench press sits with my shoulders very well. I've worked a lot on my training technique on these too. It's been something that I've been working on for years actually, and I'm very happy with how they're progressing. So that is one of my main pec exercises. Now this, it's like a chest supported T-bar row. I'm actually including this twice on my program. So I'm doing these actually 2 of my 3 training days, but I'm alternating between different grips, different handles. So on this training day, I'm holding the flat kind of a grip that, how would you describe it? One day, on my other day, it's kind of in that V shape that I grab. And this day I grab like the completely straight handles, targeting a little bit of my back musculature just a hair differently. The main emphasis here is in training my upper inner back muscles in particular. So like my trap 2s, trap 3s, my rhomboids, that's one of the main areas that I am focusing on with my training right now. It's like that kind of upper middle back thickness. Something that I'm really trying to think about when I'm doing these is squeezing at the top of each rep, which is actually something that I struggle with. I struggle with feeling a lot of that musculature. So like that mind-muscle connection, it's actually something that doesn't come very naturally to me. It's not something that's strong for me, not the same way that I feel my chest or feel my quads or feel my hamstrings. I have to really concentrate and really work on feeling this the way that I want. I'm also accentuating the eccentric portion, so I'm pausing at the bottom there and I'm doing a couple partials at the end. But it's something that's taking a lot of practice for me, so I'm going to keep working on it. Now this is basically the bread and butter for my delt training. Now my delts are a major point of focus for me. My lateral delts, I want more width on my upper body, and a big part of that is going to come through developing the lateral heads of my delts, my shoulder muscles. Now, I've tried so many different variations of lateral raises. I've tried it with cables, I've tried it with dumbbells, I've tried it with in different ways. I've tried upright rows, I've tried it with machines, I've tried everything. And I can get, there's certain exercises that I like certain things about them, but for a lot of those exercises, they just don't quite fit right, or I find that I can't quite push as hard as I want to be without some other factor limiting my performance rather than just my delts. So like my wrists get tired, for example, or I just can't feel tension in my delts the way that I want to be feeling, something like that. Now these, I'm using kettlebells, and they're kind of like, so I guess you would call this a lateral raise, but I think of it like it's almost a combination of a hybrid lateral raise upright row. So it's kind of like a really wide upright row. The dumbbells are out in front of me. I'm not raising them directly out to my sides. My elbows are bent, and I've been doing a lot of experimenting with my delt training, and these really hit the way that I want them to be hitting. So like from a perspective of how I feel and mind muscle connection, they burn like crazy. I'm doing higher rep ranges, and it seems to really be doing the trick. You can see I've been doing a lot of partials at the end of my sets, and it really seems to be adding something. So we'll see if that pays off, but that seems to be really hitting the way that I want it to be. Now this is the main bicep curl, bicep isolation exercise variation that I'm including in my program right now. So it's kind of cool. It's a cool machine. It's like a really heightened preacher cable curl kind of a setup here. I really like it. It's different than what I was doing for a very long time, which is like a incline seated dumbbell curl with your arms out behind you, which is great because then your bicep gets to be extra elongated when your arm is behind you. That muscle is actually stretched out a little bit more. I like these. This is a little bit different. It kind of focuses more on the shortened position of the bicep, which we'll see if it pays off. I'm feeling it the way that I want to be. Very challenging. I get a really big pump after every one of the sets that I do here. I feel a ton of tension, continuous tension, the biceps. So I'm really liking them, moving with a huge range of motion. I think a lot of people miss out on these from not allowing your arms to fully kind of lock out at the bottom position to let your biceps elongate. Pause at the top, pause at the bottom. That seems to work really well for me, and I'm always thinking about moving with control and poise and trying to keep tension where I want it to be. And I know that sounds a little bro-y, but it seems to be doing the trick. Now these are my tricep push downs. Now I lean forward quite a bit when I do this, and I also, you'll note that my elbows stay in front of my body when I'm doing these as well too. The reason for that is with that position, the long head of my triceps is actually able to produce a little bit more force physiologically just from where your shoulder is sitting relative to where your body is. So I really like this variation in particular because of that. The other thing that I'm trying to accentuate here is that pause at the top, really controlling the weight come up and trying to emphasize a bit more of a stretch in the long head of my triceps, which is, it's the bigger head. It's the one of the three heads, the triceps three heads. It's one of the three heads that's attached at the shoulder. So when I bring it up at the top and pause and try to like feel tension there, you can't do that quite the same way as if you're standing in more of an upright position and you're bringing the cable right down to your side. So I really like this variation. I've been ending the sets with some partials, and it's been really hitting the way I want. But anyways, guys, that concludes this video. Please feel free to stick around in videos to come. I'll share my other training sessions, but this is kind of where we're at right now. So really exciting stuff ahead. I'll see you in the next one.